great opportunity. They want to take advantage of that. Could very well happen.
Matt Kenseth is the defending winner of this event. He was just ahead of Tony Stewart.
Talk with us right now.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Matt, thanks again for talking with us. Our first question comes from our mailbag, and Haley from Mobile, Alabama asks, how much pressure is on you to avoid the big one and escape this weekend with the points lead over Jimmy Johnson?
Well, I mean, you always want to be leading. It's basically virtually a draw right now, so I'm hoping we have some good speed in this Home Depot Toyota and we can get it up front somewhere and stay out of trouble if there is any.
Hey, Matt, you've been awfully good at this racetrack. You have a win. You know, I'm sure that you've heard all the stats. 6 out of the last 7 races here have had a last lap pass for the win. You were leading here earlier this year on a green-white checker restart. Didn't get that victory. Has that brought a new perspective for you as to how and where you may want to be at the end of this race today?
Well, yes and no. I mean, I've watched that over a few times. You know, last year too, I think all the speedway races we were in ended in a green-white checker, and it's you know, it's tough as a leader, but I'd still rather be the leader and you know, have control and try to watch her runs the best you can and try to make the right move at least. So, you know, we'll see what happens. Hopefully we're in that spot. Hopefully we're in that position to have a shot at a win.
All right, Matt, we appreciate you talking with us. You have a fun and safe day out there. We'll hope to take top
Booth, you have us?
I got you, Andy.
Jason, we've been talking about the last 4 or 5 weeks just how important these decisions have been on top of the pit box and getting your driver the finish that he needs to try to win this championship. But
Fresh from Florida on board. And Jeff,
I can't express enough just how difficult this is, what the drivers go through. You're in there. Cars at this type of racetrack. I see him do things that remind me a lot of when I used to race against and watch.
residual speedy drive being blown up by the leader. It looked like he's smoking, but he's not.
Yeah, a lot of racetracks, or most racetracks.
it's kind of what makes this different than a normal oval.
A lot to live up to those Auburn cars after yesterday's big win down at Texas A&M.
Yeah. And I realize that by saying War Eagle at this particular part of the country, there are some who will be glad to cheer me and some that I might have to duck on my way out of the booth here.
It's a good thing we're up high right now, right?
Yeah. Alabama with an impressive win last night also. So Greg Biffle leading. Matt Kenseth is second. In the lead lap after the first round of green flag pit stops. Just completed when Jeff Gordon came off the pit lane. Came off the pit lane ahead of the pack on his get up to speed lap and was swallowed up.
Yep.
So Jeff now showing back in 25th place. There are 27 cars in this lead pack, Dave.
And all they told Jeff was just make sure you're not the last car in that lead pack. Apparently, that's what bit the 5 earlier, and they just said as long as you're somewhere before the last car, you're okay.
Came here and started racing, obviously, all of.
But no harm, no foul, unless you're the grass.
Yeah, and they were able to clean that when they made that pit stop, so they didn't have to worry about overheating the engine.
So Jimmy Johnson is leading. Matt Kenseth has been up front, running 10th right now in this line, while Kevin Harvick runs back in 29th place. And right from the start of the race, yes, I know Harvick started back in 33rd position, but they dropped to the back of the pack, and they...
Question?
Absolutely.
Hey, Matt, a great car once again, and you're doing an outstanding job there, but man, is it sometimes you don't have enough eyes to keep up with everything going on around you? So you have the lead and then slip back to about 15th or 16th there.
Yeah, I mean, I got the best spotter in the roof. He sees a lot of stuff, and I'm very demanding, to say the least. So, yeah, it's been a good start. Our Home Depot, let's do this. Toyota's got a lot of speed. When I get in the right spot, I just made a couple moves where I didn't have it in the right spot. I just didn't see the right run coming, and you know, didn't get in the right lane and got shuffled back. So, I feel like we're learning a little bit. It's a little busier out here than I hope. So, hopefully, we can you know, get back in position and stay up front here this run.
All right, thanks for talking. I'm not sure the rest of the group's going to be glad to know that you're still learning more as fast as you are. Thanks for talking.
All right, thanks, sir.
Matt Kenseth.
Feels like it's really loose. I don't know if you changed anything. Well, I feel like I'm going to crash loose, Jason. Did you do anything? No, sir. Okay, maybe it's just my early spot.
crash is the last thing that he wants to do today.
No, and you talk about, you don't get into talking about handling of the cars too much, but you can see he's not putting a lot of steering wheel into it. Of course, he was in the high line right there, but it looks like he's very tentative, especially on the entry to the corner.
Well, it's like I said, they're not at that limit of grip, but with this low downforce package and these, dynamic situations they find themselves in, and we saw Marcus Ambrose just lose it in problem.
Yeah. 10 laps, and we get this sorted out.
And of course he meant low right rear. He corrected himself a little while later. They only changed right side tires here, and the main thing he didn't want to do was try to diagnose this while he was in that pack. So he sort of dropped back for now. It's still very loose. He'd love to pit right now, but they're not quite in a pit window to do that.
Reporting on the issues that Kenseth was having with his car, no such problem for Jimmy. Jimmy says the car is good. He told me before the race he was very confident. He felt like it was a fast car, and he said, I want to run up front, not just lead laps, which he has led the most, but he feels like he's more in control of his destiny when he's in the front, or at least with that lead pack. So you won't see him slipping to the back for any type of strategy move. Jimmy is right where he wants to be up front.
And if you've got the car as a driver, that's what you need to do. That's your best situation. And what we've seen with Jimmy, when others have made runs at him, he gives that.
I just can't drive it. What happened 2 stops ago? It's the same. Yeah, I just gotta go out here. I'm so loose. I'm gonna crash. I gotta fix my car here. I can't race.
Well, for not being able to race, he's doing a whale of a job.
It must have come around a little bit for him. You wouldn't put yourself in this position, especially battling for a championship, if it hadn't gotten somewhat better.
I could see a little weave there going in the corner.
This situation, Matt can maintain as long as they kind of stay stable right there, but it's that time that somebody gets down on his right rear quarter panel or just right up on his bumper, probably through the triover or something, that could create a really bad situation for Matt with a loose race.
At least the last gas run, which is 40 laps, and he thought they actually needed more than that, maybe a stop and a half, and that's where we are now. 50 laps to go. That's when they were going to start their charge.
I'm sure they know if I'm going to employ that strategy, I'm going to wait way longer than that. I'm going to give myself a better chance, because we've seen Kurt Busch, for example, drive his way up there. Jimmy Johnson did it in 5 laps. So I'm not going to put myself in that position now because things are ramping up. This is when things are more likely to happen at this point in time.
Well, this week as it lands in the venue that'll host the Super Bowl, MetLife Stadium today, building to a frantic finish.
Changed some things and wanted to verify for you that the right sides that came off that car, there were no issues with them. So Jason Ratcliffe now has a decision. Do I put 4 on him? Do I try to put on 2 and see if I can adjust the car? I think he's got to have 4 tires and adjust that loose out of the car, guys.
Yeah, he's in a pretty kind of a tight spot because they're only going to need about a half a tank of fuel. And anything they do more than 2.
Dave?
The decision's been made, Alan. It'll be
lead. You see how close Gordon and Kenseth were right there. You didn't see that earlier. They were giving each other more room than that. Not happening now.
McMurray in the 1 would have gotten that one if it was the last lap by about a half a hood. Pushed by Stenhouse with Dale Jr. behind him. Center lane, Kyle Busch 18, Jeff Gordon 20. Instructions to his spotter on the roof that if he sees a group coming that's at least 5 cars that he wants to jump down in front of him.
Yeah, you don't want to just jump down there with 1, even maybe 2 cars coming. That's not going to be enough to push you and get you going where you need to go. So Matt's waiting for that opportunity. He knows it's going to happen.
All right, bud, let me talk to you for a minute. I know you know, and I couldn't expect you to do anything different, 100% my fault, but you got to protect the middle. I don't mind if people go under me if I'm in the middle. I don't mind if I get hung in the middle. I can't get hung by myself on the top, and I can't get hung by myself on the bottom. So, whatever you can do. I saw the 48 with a run, but if I would have known he wasn't cleared at 18, where when he went under me, I could have moved down to the middle, even though we're too wide. That's kind of what I need. What the hell is the 10 car doing? What a derelict.